Hey, so I was listening to a podcast. I was actually listening to the Musers podcast out of Dallas specifically because I'm going to steal a topic from them. Because I know sometimes if you ever listen to podcast or talk radio, sometimes they'll be discussing a topic where it's just like they're kind of swapping stories about something, and then I'm like, oh my god, I've got one, but you're not on it, so you can't say anything. So they were discussing brushes with death, near-death experiences, and I had one that was really interesting, very strange, that happened when I was like 11. It's the story is probably 5 minutes long, and I've been told that people younger than me have shorter attention spans. I'm Gen X. I grew up playing with Hot Wheels in the driveway. So I wanted to give a quick version of this story for our younger viewers so they can get on to their next video. So here we go. I was at a kumbaya party with a bunch of boomers and some killer poor guy dropped some potluck potato salad and decided I'm quest for the day. He tried to force quit my life through water immersion, and I'm like, I didn't sign up for the True Crime DLC. I went main character energy and tried to straight up Uno reverse that chaos gremlin. 10 out of 10 would not recommend.
No cap.
All right, so for those of you still with us, so I had just moved to this new town. I'm like 11 years old, and I don't think I'd really started school yet, but I'd started going to church, and we were kind of plugged in right away in church because my mom was the church pianist. My dad was a Sunday school teacher. So they had it made. I mean, they're making friends, and I'm going to this kind of youth group thing. I don't really know anybody. And our family was invited to a lake party that some family was having. It was going to be adults and kids, which to me was like a nightmare. It was the last thing I wanted to go to. And when I got there, it was actually worse than I expected. You had a lot of adults, and they were having very adult conversations. And actually, to paint a better picture, I'm going to give you an example of the dad and mom conversations that were going on.
Yeah, I'm just not sure old Danny White can get it done in the big game. I mean, he's no Roger.
No, I met Miss Hendricks last week. She is just a doll. She is so sweet. She's a great teacher, but I hear she's been running around with old Mr. Ross.
Yeah, you might want to flip them hot dogs, Joe.
Okay, so the kid situation was a nightmare because there were like 5 kids there, and they ranged in age from like 7 to 20. And no one was like close to the same age. It was kind of spaced out. It was mixed boys and girls. So between us, we kind of formed a pentagram around the parents. We didn't talk to each other. It was very uncomfortable, and it was more uncomfortable to me. I was pretty socially awkward, so I figured the best way to get away from this situation is it's a lake party. There's a lake. I'm going to go swimming. So I do the chubby kid swim with his shirt on thing and jumped in the lake. And I got out, the water was pretty shallow. And so I got out probably 100, maybe 150 feet from the shore before I was in like chest deep water. And, I'm kind of just standing out there. And I look at the shore and there's this guy. And he's staring at me. And I'm going to say he was about 25, and he was obviously part of our party. He was at the house, and he was just staring at me, just kind of, and it was really weird. And so I noticed him, but I pretended like I didn't, and I just kind of turned around and just faced the lake. And it's a massive lake. I mean, it just goes for 20, 30 miles. It's kind of shaped like a river, and it's maybe like 800 feet to the other side. So I mean, it's a sizable lake. And I turn around again, and he's still staring at me. And then he gets in the water, but he continues to stare at me, and he's walking towards me, and he's just kind of doing the walk in the water thing, and he's coming towards me. And he got to where he was about 20 feet away. And at that point, I turned around and just completely stopped looking to see if he was there. And I just thought if I just pretend like he's not there, he'll go away. And then I hear this big splash sound, and it's him jumping in the air, and he puts his hands on my shoulders and shoves me underwater, and I go right to the bottom. And he's holding me down, and then he gets his legs into the mix where he's got me kind of between his knees, and he's holding me down. So first I did kind of the play fight thing where you're kind of smiling, but you're like pushing as hard as you can. And I didn't budge. I was just stuck at the bottom of the lake. And as I'm trying to push away, I'm now pushing as hard as I can. And it's been like 20 seconds, which actually is a really long time underwater if you're fully exerting yourself and you're kind of screaming. So it's at one point I'd like let all the water out of my lungs, and I'm freaking out. And there was actually a moment where I considered just giving up. There's a point when you drown, I assume, where you're just finally like, okay, you just have to do it. And I was getting there. And then suddenly he lets me up, and I hear a bunch of screaming from the shore, and it's his parents. And they're yelling at him. I'm not mentioning any names because actually the family were really nice people. The parents, there's brothers, sisters of an undisclosed number. I don't want to give any clues about this because these were really nice people. They just had a crazy bad egg in their family. And they're yelling at him to let me up and get to the shore right now. And we both come to the shore, and I'm like coughing and I'm crying, and we get to the shore, and they make him apologize to me, and he apologizes, and he says kind of, we're just playing around, right? And I'm kind of like, yeah. And they kind of let us go. And then the creepy thing about it is, as we're kind of parting ways, he kind of looked back at me and makes eye contact, and he's just like, and I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? So that was all that happened. Now, if that was the story, I wouldn't be telling it now. What ended up happening is, 10 years later, he was in jail, and he murdered someone. And it was like, he killed someone in jail, and he actually said at one point that he wanted to kill someone because he wasn't comfortable with life on the outside. I learned over time that he had spent like all his teenage years in juvie. He went straight from juvie to jail. He would go in and out, drugs, theft. He stole from his parents. I mean, the guy was just bad news. And yeah, so he murdered someone in prison to stay in prison. I kind of wonder, I wonder if that's what he was planning on doing, was just like, because obviously, I mean, I didn't see him much before or after that. I mean, it was just a brief time he was out of jail, and he was just going to be like, hey, I'll just go kill this little fat kid, whatever. And so then, like, I don't know, 20 years later, he ended up murdering somebody else in prison. So he's actually serving 3 consecutive life terms. So, yeah, I am pretty sure I nearly got murdered by a murderer. Anyway, that's it.